Welcome back to the Tidarium Hangar. This is Mike, and I'm here with the weekly news and review for September 1st. So, happy September 1st. Happy release day for MP44 Optimus Prime version 3. And happy Labor Day weekend. First thing I want to talk about is Monday's Labor Day. I had to work in the restaurant industry for 24 years. Those 24 years of every Labor Day and President's Day, and every one of those days that falls on a Monday holiday was a harder than normal Monday for anyone that works in those industries. So if you have it off, enjoy time with the family, but please be kind to those who have to work in the service industry because it is a challenging day to work, shorthanded, way busier than usual on a Monday, and it is the way it is. So let's get right into this. So lots of official Masterpiece stuff going on this week. There are in-hand images, a transformation video up on YouTube, a lot of great stuff around MP44. It's exciting, it's challenging, there's a lot to it, a lot of pluses, maybe a couple of minuses, but really it's kind of exciting that it's dropping. And those who ordered through Amazon Japan are getting charged now. I don't know about all the other places because, well, I didn't order through them, so but it'll probably be showing up there soon too. I'm hoping to have mine by the 5th, but who knows? With this holiday, it might slow down a day in shipping, but again, who knows? Here are some pictures next to the MP10 mold, and that is the Ghostbusters one. And as you can tell, way different proportions, way more Toon-like. But what's it take to get there? Yeah, that's what it takes to get there. It's a bit of a wild, crazy transformation. We'll go on that ride together shortly as soon as I get mine. It's always amazing how these Prime cabs look so similar, yet transform so different. And some accessories, and I guess I just didn't pay attention. We've got 3 figures included, and I'm sure somewhere along the line it was shown to us, I just didn't catch. There's a ton of accessories. And here's what he looks like next to MP36, or the toy version. And still a little bit shorter than Megatron, which I think is pretty accurate. Just for fun, let's take a look at all 4 options that are out there. MP10, Magic Square, Transform Element, MP44. This is going to be a non-stop debate over the next month, I guarantee, about which one's the best. I still like the look of MP44. Just looking at this, when I get it in hand, we'll know more. I did like Transform Element more in hand than Magic Square, and I truly didn't believe I would, but it is what it is. Getting into this magazine, we're going to go kind of line by line here and talk about these characters. This is the Leo Convoy, which we've talked about before, but I don't know. I'm going to say I'm not really invested in Leo Convoy myself. I don't have a pre-order on him. It's not something that I'm really interested in getting, although I think he looks pretty cool. Here's more of Leo Convoy, and then Spinster, and we got Soundwave, but they're showing off the tapes that are up there. Pretty cool there. We've got some Cyberverse figures, and I think some of this stuff, or most of all this Cyberverse stuff, has been released. It's out. I'm not sure what of Cyberverse on this page isn't out yet. And then we're talking about the Piranhacon's Unicron, and stuff we've already seen before. But it's interesting how in Japan there's this magazine that keeps coming out talking about this stuff. We don't get magazines that talk about this stuff. Wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be great? Like we used to get Toy Fair and Wizard and all that stuff. I just don't see it anymore. Maybe it's out and available, you gotta order it, but I don't see it in my local stores. Unicron getting back, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. So then we've got these, and I think this is the Super 7 stuff, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it looks pretty cool. It looks like more Toon than Toon is Toon. So, I don't know. And I don't know the price point on these, but they are pretty cool. It shows you the inner workings and all that. And, of course, non-transformable. And that gets into, do you like non-transforming figures? Here's the Megatron. I just think that with them not being transformable, it still kind of looks a little goofy. The head looks a little off. The proportions look a bit off. But maybe that's right on and my mindset's off. Who knows? And the clear, and I think the reason they make the limited edition clear is for the whole transformation from Megatron to Galvatron. And here's, I guess, all of the options that you get from the Super 7. Yeah, it was Super 7. And they got a whole bunch of little minifigures, which I'm not sure how that's going to get distributed and what's going on with that, but I guess it's kind of interesting. Next thing up in the Masterpiece world is a big disappointment for me. Show Z. I had Show Z pre-ordered the MMC Ravage. I was going to get an extra one for another shelf, and they kind of had to cancel it. They weren't getting any for whatever reason. I don't know why, but Toy Dojo has them, and they're $65 each, but my problem is I didn't meet the $150 threshold with anything else that they had, so I just didn't pick it up. So I'm still looking. I don't want to spend like $75 on a $60 figure, but we'll see. If you want one, though, you can go to Toy Dojo. If you're buying a couple of other things, it might work out for you. Because there's this Monzo Toys. I think it's Monzo Toys. They're making an RC. They're making a Bumblebee. They're making a couple of things. But I think the RC looks cool. The RC looks kind of almost like a woman bodybuilder versus the RC that we know and love from the show. But I do think she looks interesting. And I am kind of a sucker for buying RCs because there's very, very few Femboss, especially in the Masterpiece realm, that are made. Now here's a very stylized looking version of Soundwave. I like Soundwave, love Soundwave, and I think this is cool looking, although still probably not for me. And I believe none of these are transformable. We've got some in-hand images of Bumblebee. Now, Bumblebee is still 2-3 weeks out, not sure 100%, but at least 2 weeks out till it's released, and in-hand images are showing up. Really wish I got my hands on some, but anyway, he looks good, and from the earlier shots, it looked like he was the same size as the MP21, but now he's looking like he's way bigger, which, in my opinion, is more accurate. I always thought MP21 was too small. That was always my thought. The actual car mode is compact and smaller than the MP21 car mode, though, so that's an interesting take there. And shorter. Of course, he looks more like the cartoon, which I always preferred a toon look, but I know that Masterpiece wanted to have real-world style cars. I don't know what the whole point of real-world style cars versus the toon cars. I mean, I'm more on the toon look, but I think we're divided in the community on that. Here's a bit of the transformation. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it'd be too hard. It is a mini bot. There's only so many pieces of panels you can put in there to make it work, but I think he looks good. I'm excited for him. Now for some pictures for Zeta, Toys, ZVO2, Core Star, which is their Unicron. Their 18-inch Unicron. So it comes up short, 9 inches short, from what we're going to get with HasLab. Now, I don't understand why they don't at least exceed HasLab in size a little bit. I don't understand. Here's a back view of him. I think he looks okay. He looks good. I don't think he looks that bad. They're making it dark so you can't see, but it really looks like from this picture there are some panels on his back of his legs, kind of like we have with the HasLab. There's no way to get around that. There's going to be some of that no matter what. Here's what he looks like in planet mode, and again, it's planet mode in a dark room, but and he doesn't even look like he's got a billion little panels, so I'm curious about the transformation and how they pull it off. But doesn't look like he has the opening jaw gimmick that HasLab has. I think HasLab is still going to blow this out of the water engineering-wise, feature-wise, look-wise, size impressive-wise. Just not sure why they went so small with it. A couple of things over at Show Z. They have listed the DX9 Motormaster for pre-order for $5. They don't have a total price on it, but some pictures, and I gotta say that this tells me they're back on the map, and I'm excited. I don't want to see any of them drop out of the race. I'd rather have some of them work on different combiners, different characters, but we're already in the middle of this, so let's get it finished. Now we have the X-Transbots version, and this guy is, you can see all the die-cast that's in it, which is really cool. I like that. Recently people have been talking about how the die-cast is just a trick to make it feel like it's quality, but man, I fall for that trick every time. I seem to. $3 to pre-order. Gigapower has their Gutter Snarl up for pre-order, and I'm probably going to have to jump on that guy because that's the last one I need to finish my Dinobots. Next up, let's slip into some Chug talk. We're talking about Omega Supreme. Omega Supreme is, well, he's getting close. I think he's still looking at an October release date, and there's the packaging for him. Here he is, taller than Trypticon. You know, I'm sure it said somewhere, but I got the sinking feeling he's going to be slightly shorter. Just slightly shorter than the MP offerings, which I was thinking most people were looking at, if they didn't have an Omega Supreme, that they were going to get an Omega Supreme, this one, for their MP shelf. I might be wrong about that, but if I were to drop $165 or $160 on this thing, I might consider putting another $70 and getting an actual DX9 or a Fans Toys or something. But that's just my thoughts. Those hips, I know they did it to fix the ratchet problem. I know they did it to make it more stable. But it looks so much worse than it did in the prototype. That made me excited for this thing. That just the whole center of it looks off now because they changed the design. Now there's going to be a lot of cool elements. Now I understand there's not electronics in it, but it looks like his eyes are lighting up. So is that just some sort of light piping trick or something? I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out. And then, yes, it does look really good in its stubby but long base mode. It's crazy. And it looks like it comes with its own personal type of blast effects also. Here's the back of the box, and just I really do like packaging. I keep all my boxes, so this kind of stuff's pretty cool. I like it. We also got to look at a couple of other Chugs here. We got a Barricade, which is another Prowl remold, it looks like, but they named him Barricade. And we're going to get Mirage. I think Mirage does look pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I thought he looked pretty good from the get-go. I think he looks way better now, further along. I'm actually excited about this little guy. Of course, we get better shots of Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime looks good. This Siege, I really wish they would do the whole thing with the cell shading. It would just be awesome. Maybe that's what's after Siege. Who knows? Real quick discussion about Unicron. Yeah, they extended the date to October 6th. I still think it's a good thing. I think there's a handful of people that don't like it, but guess what? I don't have to pay for it. The money's not coming out of my account now. I've got another month to pay off other bills and deal with all the other nonsense and not stress about dropping $1,200 on two of these guys. So, exciting for me. Hopefully for you. By the way, this won't change the release date. They're still working on this. So, guaranteeing it's going to get back. It's a smart move on their behalf. And I just think it's a win-win for all consumers. Now, it's still going to cost the same amount. They still have problems with the international. It's like they should have done something better for international. I don't like how they did it. So there's downsides to it. Is it perfect? No. Is it the best that we've seen? And probably the best we'll see unless you're dropping $1,500 on one? Yeah, probably is. Talked about it in my last update, but it's, to be fair to people who might have missed that, here's some chins. They got two different chin options. Frankly, I don't really care, to tell you the truth. Either one's fine with me. I actually want better throw-ins than the chin, to tell you the truth. And yes, we look like looks like we got like a Galvatron made out of a cracker. He's just got all the little porous holes and stuff. I'm pretty sure it'll look better, the finished one, but this is Galvatron, yeah, for him to drop in his mouth. As we transition to a little bit of Star Wars news, I just want to point out the phenomenon that is Fortnite and how this giant display that had to have taken a bit of time to resurrect on pallets popped up in my Walmart a while back, and I took a picture for my son, and then I was going to take him to let him see it a couple days later, and it was gone. Like, everything on it has sold out during the time frame of 2 or 3 days, and that's how popular this stuff is. Now, I don't see the toys selling through as fast as, say, Star Wars or Transformers, but it's still the phenomenon of the youth these days. And I just really thought it was interesting they went this far to make such a big display. And I just can't speak for other towns and other Walmarts, but I thought it was pretty impressive. Now, there was a trailer for The Mandalorian. There have been a couple now, but one is officially released, and it was an awesome trailer. Really exciting. I'm looking forward to this. Comes out in November, and I don't think that I can talk about it quite enough. It's exciting. It gives you the feel and the vibes of the original trilogy, and I think that's what they plan to elicit with this, is original trilogy. Then with Obi-Wan down the road, we're going to get some prequel stuff going on. And then, of course, for the modern trilogy, we're getting Rise of Skywalker with, well, a dark Sith Rey. There's a lot of rumors and speculation going on about this. I'm considering doing a breakdown of this myself and giving my topics, but I think the internet has blown that up right away day one. But here she is, holding a double-bladed Darth Maul-esque lightsaber. Pretty cool, pretty interesting, and I'm excited. But my whole belief is Episode 9 will redeem the franchise for, going as far on the dark side as they have already. But I'm not a huge hater of the newer movies. I just don't really feel invested in the characters very much. Don't care about the characters very much. I believe something in Episode 9 is going to make us care a little bit more about these characters. There are pictures floating around the internet that are really crappy pictures, but there is a Black Series 6-inch Force Ghost Yoda, which is cool. You can start dialing out a shelf. Because there's Yoda now, we already got an Obi-Wan from the Walgreens exclusive. Brings about the question of who's going to be Anakin when they dial out a trilogy here, all three of the figures. Which Anakin will we get? Now, I can tell you, I prefer the Sebastian Shaw version, because that to me is Anakin. I don't think that it should be Hayden Christensen. I disliked that whole idea, the fact that they plugged him in place of him, because when you die and become a Force Ghost, you look like you did when you died, not you don't go back in time and look like you did on your wedding day. I mean, that's just not how the whole thing works. So please, if they're going to do it, at least give us an option. I can leave Hayden Christensen's figure hang there while I buy the real one. Now, here's a figure that I don't know if we've seen since the 90s. Am I wrong? But this is the Yavin Luke Skywalker, the vintage collection, and I'm excited for it. I think it's cool. I got the one from like 97, and I think it's a really good way to go. And I don't know how much longer they're going to do vintage collection. Like, how many more figures? Are they going to go to 200 because we're lapping the 150 mark? So are they going to go to 200 on this? Or are they going to go to 225? How far is it going to go? But anyway, there's no news if this is an exclusive, what number this is, but it's a picture that showed up, and it's really cool, and I'm really excited about it. Anyway, it's a great week of news, a lot of stuff going on. Let me know what you think about all this great stuff. Did something else happen that I didn't talk about that you think is super cool? Like, subscribe, and Ty Darium Hanger out.